A lifelong friend included me in an online discussion concerning UBI, he called it GBI, he was having with his son. The friend has owned a small business for over 40 years, and his son is a highly compensated computer whiz with a penchant for social justice. Below are my comments concerning UBIs. For clarity and anonymity, I will refer to them as F for father and S for son. P is another friend with whom F and I vacation this year. F. The idea that people have to have GBI is going to be very, very hard to sell. I would like to see how this government will fund and maintain this new benefit and how long before the amount will be raised per year, $1,000 up per year based on a COLA? Tax everyone who makes a certain amount on a sliding scale, rich people paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 or more to receive a $1,000 check per month. How is this idea going to work? I responded with the following. F, you need to embrace the UBI. Who calls it a GBI? That's the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and they arrested my next-door neighbor back in the early 90s. A UBI will keep America's small businesses afloat. How does it work? Every legal resident of the USA receives the UBI. I'm in favor of a structured amount based on an age with 1,000. This is a poker chip. The amount will be determined per month for adults and preschool children and smaller amounts for minors between 5 and 18 years of age. This will allow people to not have to slave just to survive, give them more autonomy, and provide opportunities to advance themselves via part-time college, trade school, and or job-specific classes. Why should we do this? When we vacationed this summer, I said that a little struggle is important, something I know F believes. P looked at me as though I'd said, Jonathan Swift was right. We should plump up babies, pay the mothers a handsome sum, and then eat them when they turn 1 year old. But struggle and helplessness are not synonymous. Struggle for a purpose is uplifting. Toil without hope is, to quote a handsome young man, grinding people to the bone. This comment was made earlier by S as part of a larger thread. And life without hope leads to drug abuse, violence, sexual debauchery, and lifestyles that relieve pain out of the desperation of learned helplessness and a need to not hurt all the time, whether that pain is physical, mental, and or spiritual. If you want studies, I'll make them up. A UBI isn't money for nothing and our kicks for free. How's that for dire straits? It's a safety net that allows human beings to feel in control and hopeful rather than angry, frustrated, and resentful. Angry, frustrated, and resentful people do bad things far more often than those who feel hopeful about their futures. See previous comment concerning studies. Additionally, a UBI will replace rather than augment other safety net programs. Unemployment insurance? Not with a UBI. A UBI is not intended to give everyone a life of ease without toil. It is intended to allow folks without to live rather than simply survive. We also need universal health insurance, but that's a different subject to tackle. What's in it for me? Small businesses, the main employers in the USA, get to compete. Large corporations where CEOs make exponentially more than their employees are not the norm, and many of these businesses have employees who make good money, albeit far less than top management. I work for a company that recently set its minimum pay rate at $15 an hour, but $15 an hour would kill many struggling small businesses, which would lead to more unemployment, lower tax revenue, and an increase in the power of garks. That's oligarchs for you bourgeois bucolics. UBI allows small businesses to eke out a living while providing their employees with a standard of life beyond peon proletariat. Plus, with the extra money and time UBI will provide, because you know what our BF Ben Franklin said, right? Minimum wage earners will have opportunities to acquire skills that will lead to higher paying jobs. P.S. Minimum wage is tied to many people's incomes, not just minimum wage earners. If minimum wage rises, most wages will also rise. A UBI allows us to raise the minimum in a stepped fashion. It is obscene that minimum wage has remained the same since 2009, but a single 107% swoop is cray-cray. A UBI allows for a stepped increase in minimum wage, say 10% per year until we hit $15 an hour in 8 years, and then review either the UBI or minimum wage via COLA annually. Like that word, review, very promising while promising nothing. How will we pay for it? Tax rates. My income would warrant a real bump via UBI, but our income would not. My wage plus my spouse's makes a UBI ridiculous as we make too much money. How do we solve this? Who better to look to concerning jobs than Job, who said something about the big tax man in the sky giving and taking away. Job 121. We need more tax rates and fewer tax exemptions. How many tax rates? How does 76 sound? Nice ring, huh? Anyone earning less than $25,000 a year pays 0 federal income taxes, and we graduate up to 76% for top-tier earners. The U.S. has a bit more than 500 people who earn over $50 million a year. They get our highest tax rate and get a t-shirt declaring, Spirit of 76. Okay, not a tax rate of 76%. We start at 1% for folks who earn $25,000 to $27,000 and go up from there. Increments of earnings get larger as we go. Percentages are fun that way. And the tax increase changes from 1% to a higher increase with each jump in income to a smaller interval of pay and increases in tax rate. For fun, let's say that those that earn $50 million a year pay 50% federal taxes. They still get the fabulous Spirit of 76 t-shirt. With a proper tax structure, people whose income is ultra low get to keep all of their UBI. Middle class folks keep some. Upper middle class income earners have a $12,000 tax increase. Wah, it's not fair. Shut up, Karen. And upper tier wage earners actually pay more in taxes, so they keep none of it. Whoa, say it isn't so. Working at $7.50 an hour is not struggle. It is slow, painful, hopelessness. But by adding a UBI, we can increase both quality of life and life expectancy and provide for a healthier, more equitable America. I may have been thinking about UBIs for a while. Love you. Karl Marx was the least funny Marx brother.